running since the start of COVID. That was March 2020. So over 5 years so far. We have hundreds saved on my YouTube channel. Do make sure you've hit that free subscribe button as I load new content. I have lots of people on Zoom with me as well. So if you'd like to join me on Zoom, all the details are on my free newsletter on my website, feelgoodwithlavina.com. And this is a session for all ages and abilities. I can see lots of them live on Zoom with me in their 70s, 80s, 90s. We've even had a 100-year-old join us live, but we also have lots of younger people. If you're sitting too long, do try these exercises even behind your desk or on your sofa when you're watching too much TV. So we cover my Feel Good Fitness prescription as outlined in my best-selling book, The Feel Good Fix. We always start with a moment of breath work. So I know some of my Zoom participants were getting warm, getting their steps in. That is all to come. Let's all take just a mindful minute, what I call a breath snack. Short bite-sized amounts, exercise snacks, but breathing as well. Really good to reset our nervous system. Maybe just roll out your shoulders. Tune into your breath. Just deep breaths is what I want you to focus on today, because we're often in that fight or flight mode. And we're going to do a really simple breathing technique. So now you can relax the shoulders away from your ears. Maybe place your hands on your lap. Maybe one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Try and breathe in through your nose. Nasal breathing has a lot of scientific benefits. Maybe exhale out your nose or even your mouth if you need to let out a sigh. Any tension, focusing on positive inhales, just closing your eyes, tuning into your breath. And exhale any negativity, tension, stress. We're going to breathe in to the count of 5 and exhale for up to 5. You do what you can. It's coherent, resonant breath, this one. So breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just keep your eyes closed. Return to a normal breathing pattern. Just have a little sense check. How are you feeling? Do you feel a little bit calmer? That was just 5 rounds. When you're ready, you can rub your hands together, generate some heat. I'm actually going to use one of my favorite products. This is the Tisserand Balance Pulse Roller. So if you've got anything like this, or if you want to get one of these, I'm now a brand ambassador. You can get some discount on their website. This is lovely to just put on your pulse points around your wrists. I'm going to take a little breath here. Take a deep breath in. Maybe just open your eyes with your hands over your eyes. Just let a little bit of light in. Take another deep breath in. This smells amazing. Inhale, exhale, and release it all away. How are we feeling? So I did want to show you these products very quickly. It's not a sale, but you can get discount. They're not very expensive. It's called Tisserand. It's a brand that's been going in the natural essential oils for over 50 years. And if you use Lavina PT, so personal trainer, on their website, you can actually get, I think, 20% off everything. But these are lovely, and I use them all the time, even like a little spritz. When you're doing your breath work especially, or anytime you're feeling stressed, they've got sleep, stress, energy, balance, lots of different ranges. That smells amazing. That is added to my little breath work there. So that is your breath snack. Let's start with a bit of mobility now. So these are to warm up the muscles, to get all the synovial fluid around the joints. Let's start with a little bit of shoulder work, opening out the elbows, expanding the chest, maybe seated. I show everything seated. Mummy will hopefully be joining me as well. And my mum is also live on Zoom with lots of others. And then change direction. If you're standing, do stand up. Standing is always better than sitting if you're able to. You're going to use the muscles in your legs. You're going to burn a few more calories. Get everything nice and mobile to start. Let's do a few neck circles. Breathing in. So you tie in your breath that we just used. So we're always breathing through all the exercises. Let's change direction. If there's anything you can't do today, or if you're in any sort of pain, listen to your body and find a replacement exercise. Remember that exercise snacking, even short amounts of movement, even if you do a minute today, it's better than nothing. But we're going to try and work through my whole Feel Good Fitness prescription. The reason we're working all these joints is because you have synovial fluid around the joints. So if you feel joint pain, if you feel stiffness, actually motion is loosen. I've written a lot about the science around mobility in my book. There's a whole chapter. There's lots of different exercise snacks in there with videos as well, just QR codes where you use your camera just to take a picture, and then I guide you through it because I want you to do everything proper form and technique. Lovely. Seated or standing, we're just going to twist round, just let everything go. This is a nice release. So if you have got handles on the chair, maybe a little bit higher, or if you can, you're just twisting round, loosening up the spine. We're going to have a reminder about posture because we're all rounded from young to old these days with technology. My desk reset snack, the really quick one, bringing your shoulders up, back and down. It's the shape of a desk. Every time you see your table or a desk, think about that posture check anytime you're rounding. Really important to get that posture in place. Lovely. And mummy's here as well. If you're able to stand, we're going to do a few nice hip circles. So if you can stand up, loosening off the hips. If you're seated, you can just move your body into a nice circle. Pranam. How are you? Well done, Nisha. You made it. Very good. It's been a while. So let's do a few circles just at the hips. How does that feel standing? Our hips get really tight. This big ball and socket joint that we need to keep nice and lubricated. I am getting warm already, so I will switch that one off there. Lovely work. Then if you're able to stand, support, have a chair, have a wall. Mummy, you can demonstrate this one. And we're going to do a few ankle and wrist circles. So I've been playing a lot of paddle tennis, as you may have seen on my social media, on my Instagram. But if you're seated, again, lifting one leg and one, you can do both hands, one leg, just circling out the ankles. Let's change direction, which is great for your brain. Just a bit of coordination, get our brain neurons and keeping our brains fit through this exercises. I'm going to talk a lot about Alzheimer's and dementia today. If you're able to stand, you always have support. So you're balancing on one leg. Let's do the other side. Does that feel good? I know it's hard to coordinate. A little bit of wrist. This is where we're keeping our brains fit. I can see lots of lovely smiles already from you this morning. Good, good, good. And relax. So going into a bit of balance, or I will show you the seated option, which mummy often shows. You could do a single leg extension to engage the leg muscles here, holding out, tightening, really thinking about these quadriceps and muscles that support your knees. Mummy's doing a lovely double leg extension. Or if you're able to stand, mummy, you're going to hold on to the chair. So depending on your level, we're going to do a bit of balance work, which you know I encourage everyone to brush their teeth on one leg. Morning and night, you've got your sink there. 10 seconds is a great indicator of longevity. Some of you have started. So do you want to do some balance with me? I'm obviously practicing balance, but please have support next to you. This is to reduce your risks of falls. Let's just do 10 seconds today, holding your core, focusing on a point. Maybe if you're advanced, you could go into a yogi tree pose. Can we count down? 8, do what you can. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, careful, and 1. No, you're naughty. You shouldn't be doing that because we definitely don't want anyone to fall, especially as I have people of all ages. But good try as well. She's trying to progress today, which is great. Even if you're holding on, you could reduce the amount of fingers that you're holding onto your chair. You can maybe try a few seconds, but carefully always have support. Did anyone manage to do that? Let me know in the comments, or I will ask you at the end as well. Other side, you don't have to go into a yogi tree pose. You could just go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. One side is always maybe a little bit trickier than the other. Let me know. Zoom, anyone, did you manage to do that? Thumbs up. Super well done. So 10 seconds is a great indicator in my book. There's targets for depending on your age. Some of you have started marching, so we're all going to try and get lots of steps in today. So you could get your steps in seated. And while we get a bit warmer, going into our cardio snack now, so I'm ticking off all the bits of my Feel Good Fitness prescription, as I call it. You could go fast or slow. Maybe if you've got a tracker on, maybe Vinu Uncle can tell me at the end how many steps he's got in. So have a look. You know, you already did maybe 100 before we'd even started, Vinu Uncle. But I'm bringing this up because there's latest research you may have seen on my social media that for Alzheimer's specifically and dementia, there's some very exciting research that has come out this week saying that just 3,000 steps, and I'm all about snacking, as you know. I'm saying you could do 1,000 after breakfast, 1,000 after lunch, 1,000 after dinner, all through the day. Yeah, you don't have to do them all, but 3,000 steps can actually reduce the progression of Alzheimer's. So when people have the signs and the progression in their brains of Alzheimer's, that memory decline, it's quite amazing that they're saying that even just 3,000 steps, not the 10,000 steps that you hear that can be quite daunting, 3,000 steps can have significant benefits on reducing the progression of Alzheimer's and dementia. Isn't that great to hear? Yep. Really important. So, and the changes in your brain start in midlife. I'm 47. I'm going through menopause. We've done a lot of steps already. Have a little break. So, I was talking there. Is your heart rate up? Yep. You probably did 2 minutes of stepping. Even if you did 2 to 3 minutes of stepping every hour, every time you're sitting for too long, is that something you could do? 3,000 steps is actually really achievable for some in about 20, 25 minutes. We've got a YouTube workout that I'll send a link out to the WhatsApp group today. Something you can try that Mummy demonstrated when we did it for brain tumor research. That one, a lot of people achieved 3,000 steps. So I want you to take away that goal today in your mind that every time you're sitting too long, could we get more steps in? So today we're going to do a little step circuit to give you some ideas like we did in that other workout. So we could do a simple march. Now, some of you that are very advanced are holding light weights. You could hold those tin cans, Mummy. We are going to do strength training, but if you want to progress and you're going to burn more calories, you're going to get fitter and stronger, you could hold some tin cans or some light dumbbells. And what we're going to start with is we're going to try and do some walking backwards if you're safe. So you might not want to hold the weights. If you're not, you go by the wall or you make sure there's nothing in your way. So Mummy's going to do it by the wall, walking backwards and forwards, whatever space you have. Obviously, if you're seated, I want you to maybe take a step forwards and some back, yeah? So I want this to be accessible. I've had care homes, I've had people in their 90s join in from their chairs. So you could walk back and forwards, but carefully walking backwards is really great for your knee strength. Careful, Mummy. It's great for your brain. You're challenging your brain. It's great for your balance, your coordination. I'm going backwards and then turning around. But obviously you could walk forwards depending on the space you have. I've got people joining from their bedrooms, their living rooms, whatever you can do, just a little bit of training backwards. It's good for your back health and your knees, yeah, especially. So I obviously loved doing this when I was on holiday in the beach, because the beach is nice and clear. If you go out in your garden, if you're going out in nature, in parks, if there's some clear pathway that's safe without obstacles, try it out. Or even like we are in our living rooms, bedrooms, wherever you are, a bit of walking backwards. So that's one idea, right? Have a little break. We're going to have a few seconds, just roll out your shoulders. We're now going to go into some boxing and marching. So you could do this seated. I'm giving you lots of different ideas today of how you can get your steps in, that magic 3,000. Obviously, studies show that if you do more than 3,000, you are going to get greater benefits. So we do know that, not just for Alzheimer's and dementia, but for everything. Your cardiovascular health, your reduction of type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, for osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. Obviously, you're not stomping, but if you haven't got any bone issues, think about adding a bit of impact so your bones get strong. We're marching, we're boxing. I can feel that in my arms, especially if you've got weights. Have a little break. Whew, I felt that. I can see Andrew, who's been so amazing on Zoom with us since the beginning in 2020. He reminded me of the grapevine, I think probably 4 years ago. Does anyone remember the grapevine? So that is where you do a little bit of dance. And I used to do this a lot. We used to cross over and back. So basically what you could do is try and cross over and touch together, or you could walk with one foot going forwards, one foot going back. So yeah, mummy here, you could do seated marching, stepping, and the other foot goes forward and back. So we're almost pointing across, a little bit of dance. If you want, you put your music on, yeah? Music is great, dance work, because that's really good for the brain. I've written about that in my book. You could just play your favorite song, whatever it is, any Indian, English song, whatever it is, and you could have a little dance and just do maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's obviously the average track is about, I think, 4 minutes. That would be an amazing way to just get some steps in. I can actually see Vinu uncle doing a bit of Garba there. I hope Jampu auntie is joining in on Zoom. So let's all just have a little dance, shall we, mummy? You're going to get up and dance with me? Yay, let's dance, have a little dance if you've got a partner, or you can pretend to have a little dance. Very good, Nisha. Look, we're having a little dance today. This is lovely. Oh, we're both doing it. And then you're going to turn me, have a little dance. Vinu uncle and Jampu auntie are dancing on Zoom. Let's pretend we're listening to our favorite song. Have a little bit of movement, have a bit of fun. I'm loving this, Taruna auntie. You've got some great dance moves. And my mum, Marion, Andrew, lots of you I can see on camera. Do join us on Zoom if you can. It's all in my newsletter on my website. So have a little look. How are we feeling? That released the endorphins, right? I can see a lot of smile. That is my exercise for sanity, not vanity saying, because we are releasing these mood-boosting hormones. We're going to do another one now. Maybe drop the weights. And we could do this seated. So I'm going to show you. We're going to step and we're going to clap. Come back in the middle. Step, clap. We'll do step and clap. Step and clap. So you could do this seated or standing. We're doing a nice little step out to the side and a clap. Good. So you could bend those knees if you're standing, a little bit of squatting type movement. You don't have to go super low, but coming out to the side, we're working our inner thighs, our outer thighs. Does feel like a bit of Indian Garba here. And Vinu uncle is definitely, I can see, expert Garba player. That's our Indian festival of Navratri. Good, lovely. Coming back. This is quite good for the brain. I can feel it challenging. Good, mummy. We've been synchronized. Have a little break. Lots of steps. Yep. Can you feel that? Is your heart rate up like mine? And you should be, about 7 out of 10. If 0 is in bed doing nothing. Vinu Uncle's looking at his tracker. I haven't worn a tracker, so it'll be lovely to hear how many steps you've got, and I'll put that in the YouTube description. With the next one we're going to do, there's lots of ideas, so you don't get bored doing your steps at home. You could think of me. You could put a little box step in. So you're imagining a box step coming forwards and back. This is a great one I used to do in those 80s dance classes, which are still going on, aerobic dance lessons, but we could do it at home. You could go nice into a nice low box step. How does that feel? Good. So you're drawing a box. So both feet forward, mummy. So go right and then left forward and then right back, left back. Right, right, left, right, left. And you could hold weights for progression. I'm giving you lots of ideas here. So you could hold the weights if you've got the steps going. How does that feel? We're doing a bit of box step, but don't worry if you can't do this. Just do a simple march on the spot. Shall we try and change the box step, lead leg? So shall we lead with the left, then the right, then the left, and the right. So we're now challenging our brain. We want to keep our brains fit, yep. We want to reduce risks of dementia, Alzheimer's, especially when it's so common as we age, but especially in women. So if you're a woman listening, please think about your brain health, and the changes start in midlife. So get your younger generation, if you've got daughters, everyone to start thinking about their brain health. What is good for your heart is clearly good for your brain. That's the biggest message from this latest research. Last one we're going to do, I know you've done a lot of stepping, is we're going to do high knees. So here we're going to lift the knee up. If you're standing, it's balance work. So have a wall near you, a chair, something for support. You're going to lift up. You could go nice and fast. Think about your stomach muscles as you lift that leg up. So really engage your belly button in towards your spine. If you wanted to, you could add in the ropes, or if you have weights, you're adding in a nice little shoulder press here, getting those shoulder muscles going. You don't have to be synchronized, just see how fast you can go. Shall we do a 10-second countdown? If you're not got any bone issues or arthritis, think about adding a bit of impact. So I'm going to make a little stomping sound as I lift that knee up, just to get my bones strong. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! How are we feeling? So give yourselves a big clap. I'm sure you weren't expecting me to do that little step workout. Vinu Uncle, if you want to unmute even for a second and tell us what your rough count is on, it would be really useful. If he wants to have a little breather, everyone, just roll out the shoulders. Have a little breather.
We did about 1,000 steps since we started.
That's amazing. So I think that's only in probably 10 minutes or so from the beginning. That is brilliant.
Heart rate went up to nearly 100, 9800.
Very good. So your maximum heart rate is, if I remember off the top of my head, 220 minus your age. I won't give your age away, but I know roughly. So if that's, let's say 140, you are in that. You're in that sort of 7 out of 10 zone. So like 65, 70% of your maximum heart rate, which is really good aerobic training. Very, very good.
So the best thing is when I go out walking, I tend to go up the hill.
Yes.
I tend to walk faster. That's when I can get my heart rate up.
So you will reach much higher heart rates, yes. If you use a hill, if you climb stairs, so you know, remember the stair snacking, 3 flights of stairs, 3 times a day. There's a study in my book. I always go on about that, but hills are brilliant, and I'm sure you're super fit from that. So well done. Thank you, Vinu Uncle, for sharing that. That just shows, right? We've just done 1,000. And obviously, when I'm talking in between the next few exercises, I will ask you to keep marching today, because it would be great if we can get that a little bit higher during this session, just so you know that you've got this one to play, right? Even if you want to get to 1,500 steps in this one session, I think we should be able to achieve that. So have a little break or keep marching. We're going to do a little bit for upper body first. We're going to give our legs a little rest for strength. So we're going to do our wall press-ups. If you're new to it, the wall is the best place to start your press-ups. In my book, like I said, I go through floor press-ups. I have QR codes straight to the videos, yeah? So it can show you how to progress to the floor safely and properly. Otherwise, against the wall, Mummy's demonstrating. Her hands are at shoulder height. She's bringing her whole body, good, towards the wall and away. The seated option, if you can't stand, is pressing against your thighs. I want you to bend your elbows, and I want you to really push away. Now, we're doing upper body strength to help us. When you may, if ever, have an injury with your lower body, maybe replacements of your hips, your knees in the future, we need our upper body strength, because we want to be able to even help. Maybe you're using a frame, maybe you're using crutches, maybe you just need to be able to push yourself out of the chair, off the bed. You need your upper body strength for alongside our day-to-day activities, shopping, lifting, carrying, picking, all of these things. We're doing about 10, circle out. Some of you, like I know Andrew, who I visited recently, does them against his kitchen counter as progression. So that's not the wall. You go to an inclined surface. I would really encourage you, just roll out, maybe take a few steps or circle out the feet, give them a little bit of love. I would really encourage you to do those countertop press-ups against kitchen island or a table. It's progression, but a lot of you have been on these workouts for a long time with me. So if you're still doing the wall, you could move further away from the wall with your feet, but I would love you to do incline. Does anyone do incline press-ups? Show me on Zoom or on YouTube. Just give me a thumbs up or a yes. So against your countertop in the kitchen maybe, or even against your sink if it's big enough, you could do those. Have you tried, Mummy? You've done a few times. But maybe when you're in the kitchen next time, could you add in 10 press-ups? So could you? She's going to do, yes? Is that a little goal? She does her exercise snack in the morning, but through the day, the more you do, the more it's going to help your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar levels, your blood fat levels. There's a lot of science behind these little snacks through the day. So 10 in the middle of the day would be amazing. We're now going to add some weight. And when I say weight, we always make it accessible. Tin cans, maybe light dumbbells if you have. Increase your weight if you can. If you're a beginner, obviously just no weight, start with your body weight. You can play this back. And we're going to, seated or standing, start adding in our shoulder press. So really keeping these muscles strong. This engages your shoulders, breathing out. You're going nice and symmetrical, nice and slow. I want you to think about those upper body muscles getting lovely and strong to be able to lift things overhead, to help with our overall body strength. We're doing about 10, but I want you to feel the last 3. So if you're on a weight where you really feel it, you're on the right challenging weight. Otherwise, I'd love you to increase it, either today or when you play this back. This workout is saved. So up and down, you go nice and slow. Even if you go 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, nice and slow. The tempo can make it challenging. How many are we on, Mummy?
You've done more.
Have we done more? Let's finish with one last one. I was feeling that and relax. Did you feel that? I want you to ask yourself. You may have been using the same tin cans for 4 years. If you have, think about it. Yeah, I always share this AMP Wellbeing website, which I also have discount. I think it's, I've written it before. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's just discount Lavina, and I can change that. They do have nice hand weights as well as resistance bands on there. So talking about resistance bands, let's grab a band or a belt or a pair of old tights like I used to in the pandemic. This is the name. It's AMP Wellbeing. And Mummy's got the stretchy band from them as well. They sent us this. So these are nice resistance bands, but anything like a belt would do. And some of you know we're adding in the shoulder floss in between today. And we normally do a little band snack at the beginning, but we did our step circuit. But this is great. I do this every morning. It kind of flosses out my shoulders, giving that full range of mobility. If you can't go straight arm, you bend the elbows. You don't have to go all the way back until you practice. Look, Mummy's doing it all the way back, even seated. That means her shoulders are getting a lovely full range of motion, yeah? We really want to keep that ball and socket nice and lubricated and able to do all the things that we ask our amazing bodies to do day to day. Inhale, exhale. Can you feel this? If you can't, you could hold your band or tights a little bit tighter. If you ever have any leg injuries, upper body exercises like these are things that you can do to keep yourself strong from the comfort of your chair, yeah? It doesn't mean that you stop. And I have testament of Taruna Auntie, who's been on this journey with me on Zoom from the beginning, and she has even fallen and fractured her shoulder, but she continued these workouts. She couldn't do this move, but over time she did slowly, got her body stronger, and she's now, I can see on Zoom, should give her a clap, doing the shoulder floss so perfectly. I mean, there's so much inspiration that I see from the people doing these workouts regularly, and they keep me motivated. So well done, Taruna Auntie. I would love you all to do 10 more press-ups. This time, go away into the kitchen or against a lower surface. If you've always done the wall, Andrew has got his cupboards there, but I know he does them carefully against his, I think he's doing it against the chair, which is safe, but he also does them in the kitchen. I've seen it. Mummy's done them in the kitchen. So Mummy, obviously today we can't do it against the lower surface, but if, for example, you imagine your kitchen island is not as low as this, yep? But if, I'm just giving you an example, if it was, you'd place your hands and you would try and do your press-ups, not this low. This is much harder. Inhale, exhale. There's a straight line from my head to my heels. My stomach muscles are in. If you're doing seated, you keep going. You might not even get to 10, yeah? It might be too hard. You stop if you need to. You roll out your wrists. You do whatever your body allows. Obviously, I try and do daily the press-ups on the floor, which, again, I don't demonstrate. So, Mummy, this isn't safe because this chair will move. But we can try here. Let's do this. Can you try here? Obviously, don't move your own furniture around, but Mummy's going to demonstrate. Let me check her. So this is harder. Yep. Inhale, exhale. Good. You don't have to come all the way down. Just keep a straight line. So all the way through. Inhale, exhale. Good. You can even come on your tiptoes. Good. Can you feel that? Yeah, on your arms. Great. So she's showing you an option. You don't have to even break it here. Back and forwards, nice and straight. Core tight. When you're ready, get your steps in. Roll out your wrists. Maybe we can get some more steps in. Well done, Andrew. You did the same one safely on your chair. I'm guessing that's on a carpet so it doesn't move. So please be safe. This wasn't great showing you there, but you know what I mean. Against your kitchen island, like your surface, your counter that doesn't move. It's a great way to get them. This is what I do in my workplace wellness workshops. I try and get people to do it at the coffee machine. When you're making a coffee, can you do your press ups? When you're cooking, mummy, can you do 10 press ups? Yes? Homework? Amazing. As well as the 3,000 steps that we're trying to get in as many of as we can today. So let's do a little march out, because we're going to do a little bit more with strength work. But this time, when you're ready, I'm going to show you a few options for your lower body. Heel raises. So these are great. Let's all do some heel raises. Up and down, maybe holding at the top, lifting the heels up and down. This is your soleus muscle. If you're standing, you could do it by a chair, up and down. If you're able to balance, you can do it anywhere you are. I do this in the supermarket, in the queue for coffees. I do a bit of balance, or I do some heel raises waiting for my train if I'm going into London. Anytime you're around, the soleus muscle helps to balance those blood sugars. This is great after meals. It's a brilliant hack backed by science. As I always say, everything needs to be evidence-based. Up and down. Can you feel that? Yep. So you're keeping your soleus muscle, which they call your second heart now, which is really helping to help pump the blood, just like your heart does, but it's great for our blood sugar levels. Good. So try it out. Engage your pelvic floor, ladies and men. You know, I've talked a lot about that. There's a pelvic floor snack in my book. You can get off Amazon if you don't know about pelvic floor exercises. That's really important, especially with incontinence as we age. Do you squeeze your pelvic floor muscles twice a day? Do you still do that, mummy, in the morning? 10 seconds, up to 10 seconds, long holds, 10 times short squeezes. Yeah, we're not doing it at the moment, but this is quite a good one to tie in maybe to your heel raises, certain exercises, or you just do them alone when you're sitting. Yeah, I try and do that when I'm driving, because I know I'm on the morning school run, and I'll do it when I'm doing a bit of breath work. If I'm stuck in traffic, I'll quickly add in my pelvic floor. I'm giving you all my little secret snacks here, but it's tying it onto existing habits so you remember to do them. We are going to do either heel raises if you're seated, or leg extensions. So you can go out and hold, or you can lift your knee up towards your chest, then extend, which is harder, in and out. So maybe we do a few of these actually, because this one is great. You could even add a resistance band onto the leg extension. So if we do bring it up and you have a band, hold it at the other end. Bring your knee in first. Wrap that band carefully around your foot. Don't worry if you don't have a band, you just do without. And then straighten your leg. Then bring it back. Now, depending on how hard the resistance of your band or how hard you're holding it. So if I'm going to hold mine lower down, there's more resistance, more force to keep my muscles nice and strong. And strength training is key for maintaining a healthy weight, to reduce risks of chronic illnesses, everything from cancers to diabetes, to osteoporosis, to heart disease. Resistance training, our muscle mass, is the key for longevity. Should we do the other leg if you haven't done it? So if you're doing without, you're just extending, bringing it in towards your chest. Other side, maybe for 10. Let's do this one. This is a really good seated exercise you could do when you're watching TV. Do you ever do this one? No? Can you feel it? So maybe hold it a little bit tighter, lower down, if you feel that's a bit easy. Inhale, exhale, push away. Think about getting those legs strong. And our quadricep strength, that's why I do leg extensions, and the next exercise, our sit and stand, is linked to your lifespan, literally your longevity. We want to keep our leg muscles strong to maintain independence. There's a lot of science behind these quadricep muscles as well that I'm seeing. Relax there. You could do those again, or if you're able to stand, I want you to have your feet over shoulder width, Hold your chair if you need to. Knees always go out, never inwards. They go in the same direction as your toes. You could lift up a couple of inches just for a bit of support and down. You'll sit and stand, but you don't have to do it all the way. This is different options for different levels. If you're able to stand, come all the way up. Well done if you can. Don't worry if you can't. And then slowly down. Go really nice and slow. Can you see your toes? Have a little check. Are your stomach muscles in? Inhale down. Breathe out. Really squeeze your glutes, your bottom at the top. This is going to keep all your lower body muscles strong to be able to stand up independently for as long as possible, yeah? In and out of bed, in and out of the car, on and off the toilet. The more you do this, the better. So if you can do maybe 2 to 3 sets of 10 sit and stands a day. I know I always say 1, but I want to push you all to do this. Inhale, exhale. Can you feel this, mummy? Squeezing up. This is probably the most important exercise from the workout today, as well as the press ups, the king and queen of strength exercises. One more. Well done and relax. Good. How did that feel? We're doing quite a lot today. So again, in your break, have a little heel raises. We're going to do a second set because obviously I didn't use any weight there. If you're tired, you can just march out. Should we get a few more steps in between? So think about the weight that you're using. Again, if you've done my workouts for years and you're using the same weights, your muscles won't be as challenged. Obviously, you could increase the amount of squats that you do, the amount of repetitions, the amount of sets. That's great progression as well, but maybe grab a rucksack. Fill it up with something heavy, like some books or some tins or some naughty Coke bottles or whatever it is. Increase the weight gradually over time or use a nice heavy weight. So let's try either, if you're doing leg extensions, holding a weight, maybe holding it in front if you're seated, in and out, or let's try and do 10 more sit and stands, this time with a weight, if you can. And you listen to your body, you do what you can. The form and the technique is the most important here. Breathing out. Inhale, knees go out in line with your toes. Mummy, you're going to keep count. Good. Squeezing your glutes at the top. Core tight. Go nice and slow down. That eccentric negative is really important as well. Good. Can you go for any more? Obviously, if you didn't have the chair, I like going a little bit lower. If it's hard on the chair, you could put a cushion to start off with, so you're not going as low as your chair. That's another good trick. Coming up, mummy. Going nice and slow down, back straight, core tight, squeezing the glutes. Good. You've got to really think about that muscles getting stronger. How was that, everyone? Let me know on YouTube. My heart rate is up. That's the beauty of strength training. You are burning fat, building lean muscle, yeah? The more muscle mass you have, the better for your health, your longevity, everything. It's all about strength training for me. That's often the missing piece because we will get our steps in if you want, but the strength is really, really important, yeah? So you all that are joining these workouts are regular strength trainers, yeah? You're not those bodybuilder types. You're doing things that we can do day to day in our homes, wherever you are, and I'm very, very proud of you. So let your friends know about these workouts. They're a great way to get into strength. Should we do a little bit of stepping? Maybe shake out the arms, relax a little bit, shake it all out, maybe go a little bit faster. Can we get a few more extra steps in, seated or standing? My mum is lifting her arms up, just having a little bit of a nice moment there. I can see she's in the flow. Can you see my mum? She's enjoying just having a little bit of a dance, a little bit of a release, and shake it out. Good work. So we're really pushing it today with heart health, strength, stepping. I mean, obviously we won't get to 3,000 steps because I'm showing you a lot of stuff, but hopefully this inspires you to keep going. Taruna Auntie's also twisting, which I like. There, she's doing a little, I'm loving all everyone's ideas here. You're giving me lots of ideas of how to step and you can use your core. So she's actually twisting. I can see her on Zoom. Can you see her? That's very good for your core and your hips and your waist. Lovely work. And she's still stepping. Give yourselves a little clap. So we're going to do one last exercise for our arms. You can keep stepping if you want to while we do this one. Whichever weights you're going to use, we're going to do our biceps now. So this is the big muscle to help us lift, carry your shopping, your grandchildren's picking things up. So we're going to have your elbows close to your body, and then those weights come toward your shoulders. You slow it down. So can you see my back is straight? I've done my desk reset snack. My stomach muscles are tight, and I'm going up and down. I mean, I would go up in my weights because I want to inspire you to also go up in your weight. If your form is good, you could add a few steps in. But rather than that, I'd just rather you focus on this. Maybe 10 repetitions, maybe 12. Keep your wrists nice and straight, especially as you start lifting heavier weights. Those wrists will get stronger. Mine were very weak before. Now I can manage 10 kg bicep curls. I was showing my mum on holiday on each hand, which is, you know, rare because I would never think I'd be able to do 10 repetitions. There's 20 kilograms. Obviously, that's over time. I'm not saying go that heavy, but it's amazing how your body can get stronger. And release. Did you feel that? Give me a nod. If you didn't, you've got to change your weight. Next time, maybe go a little bit higher and think about it. And then we will finish with one last exercise. So we will do it without the weight, but what we're basically doing is imagining holding a weight in front of us. We're going to keep our stomach muscles really tight. Think about squeezing everything in, and you're going to twist and back. So it's a very small movement, but I want you to feel it in your core. This is your deep transverse abdominis. So you could hold a water bottle. You could hold a weight in front of you if you feel it. Little twist, breathe out, inhale back. But it's more about your stomach muscles here, not about the weight. It's about twisting, feeling your core. So all the way down, those deep muscles in your core, keeping that belly button towards your spine, twisting, releasing. How does this one feel? Can you feel that? Should we go for maybe 3 more? 2, even your core muscles need to stay strong, right? To help us with all of our activities. But all the exercises we use, the squat especially, uses your core muscles. So you don't have to do sit-ups and crunches. We're using them in these big compound moves. How are we feeling, everyone? You have done so well. The last challenge, either you can just have a moment to recover before we stretch, or let's go for a last little sprint, shall we? As many steps in as you can for the last minute. You can stop and start. Are we ready? You could grab some weights if you really want to push it. Tin cans. You could go fast or slow, seated or standing. Let's get stepping. Come on, come on, come on. What can we get that step count to? Vinu Uncle's going to give us his update with his amazing wife, Champo Auntie. They're stepping, they're holding their weights. Very inspiring. You do what you can, even seated. Let's go for a little bit longer. Can we get on? Woo! We're nearly there. Imagine a little race against yourself. If you need to stop and start, please stop and start. But let's get as many steps in as we can. And you are going to count down with me now, out loud. That's good for your brain. Let's count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Go as fast as you can. 4, 3. You're at the finish line. And you won. Yay! You won. That's amazing work. My heart rate, as you can hear, is super high. Mummy, I don't think you got to smell this at the beginning, but I'll give you a little squirt of this natural essential oils. Have a few deep breaths. How are we feeling? That was probably for me an 8 out of 10 in terms of effort, maybe even pushing it a little bit higher. I hope you feel great. We are going to stretch, but first take a few deep breaths. We always do our feel good finish, but I feel like we could just do with a little breather to bring that heart rate down. Inhaling, lifting the arms, exhaling nice and slow. Let's do one more. Breathing in and out. Lovely work. Do you like the smell?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll have to get you one. Lovely. So let's stretch. This is the most important part, especially when we do new exercises. You may feel a bit achy in a day or two, but your muscles need to be stretched out and to reduce risk of injury. So lifting your arms up, one leg is nice and straight, my toes are towards it. You're going to try and reach over, chest towards your thigh, maybe touching your toes. Don't worry if you can't. Place your hands on your shin, even on your thigh. Relax your head, neck and shoulders. Let's take a couple of deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Lovely. 2 more. And really feel that stretch. I hope the straighter your leg, the more you're going to feel this stretch. Roll up. If you needed to, you could add a band in to help you with your stretching around the foot. Yeah, if you're finding it really difficult. Otherwise, let's carry on the other side. Reaching up, lengthen your back. Then chest towards your thigh. Relax your head, neck and shoulders. Deep breath to bring that heart rate down. You've worked so hard. Even if you did a minute over the age of 60, there's science to show that is going to improve your health. And obviously, the more the better. Little exercise snacks through the day. They are as effective, if not more effective, if we can't fit in this longer workout. That's why I always give you homework to think about. How are we feeling? Seated or standing? You're going to bring one arm in front of you and the other hand above or below the elbow. Just bring that arm in and feel a lovely stretch around the shoulders that we've worked in our press-ups, our shoulder press, those high knees that we did earlier. Lots of exercises. Inhale, exhale. And the other side, Mummy, if you just demonstrate, you're getting nice and warm now, right? Inhale, exhale. Try and use this time as a bit of self-care to really forget your worries, your to-do list. Everything's going to be okay, and this is your moment just to be present in this moment, thanking your amazing body for everything it's done. We're going to do our same with our biceps. I do this stretch a lot. Now I'm playing a lot of racket sports. So I'm putting a bit of pressure on my palm. I'm drawing it back. Those fingers, just see how it feels. You should feel a nice stretch here. You can do this seated, even if you're on the sofa, at your desk, working from home. Similarly, you could try the other way. So we don't often do this, but you could try and straighten your arm and just bring your hand towards you. Does that feel a bit odd? Yep. Just straightening out. You'll feel that here. Roll out the wrists, and then we can try the other side. So obviously, the more pressure you bring, the harder the stretch. But just do what you can. It's most important you try and hold these stretches maybe for up to 30 seconds ideally. 10 deep breaths, even 5. Whatever you have time for, a little bit of stretching every day is going to really help your flexibility, your suppleness, and obviously after any exercise, always stretch. That is the key. Lovely work. I feel like we should do a back stretch. So either, which I'm going to show Mummy, don't rearrange your furniture, but if you have a table, if you even have a wall, I want you to go towards it. But if you have a table, and I'll show you the seated version, I want you to come and step out. Even your kitchen island, maybe even your bed, if it's not too low. I want you to come into this position. This is like a right angle. Can you see our head is between my arms? If you're not able to stand, you're going to literally stretch out your back by rounding your back. I've interlocked my fingers in front of me and I'm stretching out. Can you feel that, Mummy? You should feel that all the way down the backs of your legs, through your back, keeping your head neutral. The more you get into that straight line, the more you're going to feel it. So can you feel that? Well done, everyone. Can you see Mummy? She's doing that very well. Lovely straight line. It's sometimes hard to get your head into that straight position. Good. Everyone's checking you're demonstrating beautifully. Then you can try it again. Holding, breathing. Did that feel good? You did that so well. Because some people are like, I'll show you where some people are. They're a little bit here, Mummy. So can you see my head is up? The more you shuffle your feet and the more you can go down, obviously over time, you'll feel a lovely stretch. This is in my book. I've called it the best back stretch. That's one to practice, a new stretch for you all today, giving you some extra stretching. Let's stretch out our legs because we did a lot with our steps today. We're going to hold our foot in and maybe circle out. So hug the knee in, maybe circle out an ankle for those steps. Vinu uncle, if you're free to give us an update on your step count, this is probably a good time if you want to go off mute and tell us how many steps you managed to do. Other leg, hug it in, maybe roll out.
I think in total, you've done around 2,000 steps.
Woo! 2,000. 2,000.
Slightly less than 2,000.
How amazing is that? That is incredible for your heart, your brains, your bones, everything. That is so good. Well done. Well, you did a lot of steps I saw, so that's very inspiring. And obviously, if we'd done maybe 5 minutes more, I'm sure we would have hit over 2,000. So that is incredible. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. That's brilliant. Okay, so last stretch, if you want, either keep hugging your knee in, otherwise this is quite a good one to open out your hips. If you can, put your foot on the opposite leg, and then if you can, you just ease out a little bit on your knee, but don't worry if you can't press, just do what you can, and if that doesn't feel good, Mummy, maybe just hug it in again, or you could even just straighten it out and see how it feels, yeah? So only this one if you're able to. Hold out, breathe. You can even try the other side. It might be easier or harder. Just see how it feels. You don't have to put pressure on that knee. You could come forward. You might feel a deeper stretch in those tight hips if you've got tight hips. Breathing, relaxing, well done. And we are done, but we always have our feel-good hug, which is the best for opening out your chest like a cat-cow, seated or standing. And if you've got someone near you, I want you to go and grab them. You're going to take a positive inhale, open your arms out, really stick out your tailbone, open your chest, lift your neck, look up, inhale, exhale, maybe give yourself a hug. Or grab someone, well done. And if you're self-hugging, we're rounding our back. So those vertebrae are getting a lovely opening, yeah? You're looking down, chin to chest, tuck the tailbone under. Let's do one more from me and Mummy to all of you. Inhale, exhale, rounding out. You are all amazing. I love this part of my week, because it's the most rewarding seeing so many different people working out with me. I love you to share these workouts so I can help more people to feel good. Let's do our feel good finish. I hope you feel good. Breathing in lots of positivity. Lift the arms up. Exhale any tension, negativity. Bring them down. We have workouts in Gujarati on YouTube. Could you do it in Gujarati for us, Mummy?
અંદર શ્વાસ લ્યો, બધા શુભ વિચારો અંદર લઈ જાઓ. બારે શ્વાસ કાઢો, બધા અશુભ વિચારો બારે કાઢો.
Lovely. Let's take one final big positive inhale. This time capture that positivity. in your hands, bring it down to your heart center. Before you run away, close your eyes, take a bow, and be proud. Have a moment of gratitude. Say thank you to your amazing bodies for whatever you managed to do today. You showed up, you invested in your physical health, your mental health. This is part of a community, so do join us on Zoom, or if you're on YouTube, do drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'm on all socials, as you see, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, for workplace talks and events as well. But it's absolutely amazing to see you all work out with me. And you please do these workouts maybe twice a week to hit the government guidelines, and then keep exercise snacking through the day, yeah, as much as you can. Well done, everyone. Well done, Mummy.
Well done, Lady
Thank you
Mary.
for
Thank
joining
you.
me. And I do talk to everyone on Zoom at the end, so that's another great highlight of my week. And thank you for all of you getting your steps in. That's brilliant work today. I can see lots of you on YouTube saying, oh, love from India we had today. Good attempt with your mother. Well done. And we've got a couple of women women and men in India. Amazing. Sunya Patel, super work. Dole, great work. And I will save this now on YouTube. Well done, everyone.